and welcome to episode 100 of the Stress Knits podcast. My name is Stacy, also known as Stress Knits Yarn over on Instagram and Stress Knits on Ravelry. I am the hand dyer behind Stress Knits Yarn, and I'm coming to you from an unseasonably warm and sunny Metro Detroit, Michigan. When I say warm, I mean it's in like mid-30s, and it's just, there's no snow. It just kind of bums me out. Anyway, today is January 7th, 2020. It's weird, I haven't said that out loud yet. But today is also mine and my husband Doug's third wedding anniversary. We got married January 7th, 2017. So that's always really exciting. Yeah. Eliza, our daughter, who is just over a year and a half, she is down for her nap. Esther is napping on the couch in the living room. So I thought I would try to stick to my new podcasting schedule that I'm trying for 2020, which is recording every Tuesday and uploading every Tuesday or Wednesday, just kind of depending on time. So there should be a podcast every Tuesday or Wednesday in 2020, with a few exceptions for if we're ever out of town, which I mean doesn't happen often, but it happens, or if I'm sick or Eliza's not napping or something like that. So that's the goal. Hopefully we'll be on episode 154-ish by the time 2021 comes around, but we'll see. So yeah, 100 episodes, and it's almost my podiversary. So I uploaded the first episode of the Stress Knits podcast January 11th, 2016. I was in my dorm room at Marshall in West Virginia, and I just did it on a whim. And so here I am 100 episodes later, 4 years later, and we're still going. And there are so many of you, and I would do this if there weren't almost 6,000 of you, but it just means that much more that all of you are here for this and have been with me from college on. It just means so much. So thank you, thank you, thank you. 100 is so much sweeter with all of you, and I can't wait to see what happens in this next year and the next 100. Yes, so I feel very gushy because, again, it's my anniversary and it's episode 100 and it's almost the podiversary, and no, it just feels very monumental. So, quick recap because it is the first of the year. So, let's see what happened. We've been sick. Eliza got the flu for the first time. The stomach flu, not the flu, which is good. Yeah, so New Year's Eve, she threw up on me, and then Doug came home from work. He had to take pictures at a party, and he came home like maybe half an hour before midnight, and I got to clean up, and we toasted each other with the sleeping baby on us, and that was really nice. And then he let me go to sleep in our bed while he slept out on the couch with her, and she threw up on him as well. So it was an adventure in parenting. And I'm not someone who I don't think anybody enjoys it, but I don't do well with throw up in general. Like, even if my dog gets sick, not a fan. I kind of want to do it too, but I feel like I handled that pretty well. So that was something I learned about myself, is that I can handle vomit in crisis. So that's good. We spent time with my family, and then all of Doug's siblings were in town, which is a treat because we have one so Doug is number 3 of 7. So he's a big family, and 3 still live at home with his parents, and then we live across the street, obviously, and then there is one in Tennessee, one in Wisconsin, and one in California. So it's really nice when all of us can get together, and there are 5 granddaughters, which is exciting, and they're all all the youngest ones are within a year of each other, or 6 months of each other. They're all 3 and under. So it was a lot of fun, and it was just really good seeing everybody and hanging out, playing games, and eating good food. So that was a good treat. Doug and I may be going out of town next week, the week after, sometime soon. Doug's new boss is letting us use his house up north to get away with just the 3 of us. We might bring Esther, I don't know if we can yet. If not, she'll stay with my parents. But, so that's really exciting because we haven't taken a trip that isn't work related since the last time we went up north to Traverse City in 2017. So that's really exciting. Really looking forward to that. That also means I'll be able to go to Wool and Honey again, which I cannot wait to go back to that store. I love it so much. And I'm trying to figure out what sweater quantity I want to purchase. Or I might have Doug purchase it for me for my birthday, because my birthday's in February. So yeah, it's been a really hard but good holiday season. Doug's new work schedule, trying to balance that and his last day at work and like his old job, and trying to find our new normal, because he has weekends off now. He has Saturday, Sunday off, which is new. He used to just have Sunday, Monday off, so my weekend is also Saturday, Sunday now. It used to be Sunday, Monday, which I know was kind of confusing, but yeah, so I have a normal weekend along with him. You know, that's pretty much it. Yeah, so anything else? I will talk about the next shop update and Patreon news at the end, because I know not everyone's interested in that. So with that, I'm going to take a sip of water. That's right. I forgot to make cold brew. So one of my goals or resolutions for this year is to drink more water, which was also a resolution last year, and I did really well with it. But I want to keep doing that, so it's still a goal. And I want to make more of my coffee at home, just because, again, Doug's new schedule, he goes to work earlier, so it's harder for me to wake up before him, go grab Starbucks, and come home. Although I'm gonna miss it a little bit, because it was kind of my, like, I got to get out of the house for 15 minutes and just kind of be by myself for a little bit, which I cherished. But that's okay, because now I will have more time when he comes home to go to a coffee shop or to the gym, or if I need to run some errands after he gets home from work, now that he's not getting home at 7 or 8 at night. So again, new normal. But I'm making cold brew right now, and it's not ready. It's a little too weak, so it needs to steep a little longer. So I'll have cold brew for tomorrow. But for now, I'm just drinking coffee. This is water, not coffee. I also got this new water bottle so that I have 2 in rotation. I'm blabbing on a lot, but I feel like I haven't seen you in a long time. So this way I can have 1 water bottle being cleaned and 1 water bottle that I can drink out of, instead of using glasses is fine, but I like seeing how much water I'm drinking. So these are 1,000 milliliters, 32 ounces. And I just really like seeing my progress throughout the day and going, I had 2 water bottles. It just helps me track how much water I'm drinking and really be conscious of it. So that's why I like these. It's a Nalgene. Yeah, and I have a sticker to go on this, but I haven't put it on yet. So stay tuned. Finally got my sticker from the campaign I'm supporting. So of course it's gonna go on my water bottle. Yes, so let's talk about knitting, right? So let's talk about the elephant in the room. I have 2 FOs, and obviously one of them is a pair of socks. See what I did there? Okay, so I have 2. This is the only pair of Christmas socks that I finished. This year, to be honest, all I had left to do on the second sock was the foot and the toe. So is it really that impressive? No, but it's something off the needles. It is a long-standing project. I think this pair of socks, it took me 2 years. Yeah, so again, there are 2, but this is Gynx yarn, who sadly isn't dyeing anymore, but is not doing so for health reasons, so that's good that she's taking care of herself. But this is the Christmas Lights colorway. And I actually knit a pair of socks for my mom in this colorway in college, and I had enough left over because I knit her ankle socks. I had enough left over to knit myself a pair of socks with contrast cuff, heel, and toe. And for the contrast, it is Knit Picks Stroll in the white colorway. Yeah, so I'm really excited to add these to my festive box of socks. Yes, so these will be brought out next year, next Christmas season, and worn happily. So there is finished object number 1. Let's see where to put this. Okay, finished object number 2 is something I wanted done a long time ago. It was a test knit that I failed at, but it's done now and I love it, I think. So 2020 is also the year that I will be knitting my sweaters longer because I don't know how often I'm gonna wear this because it's a little cropped. And a lot of you are gonna go, that's not that cropped, Stacy, but for me, I like a longer, looser sweater. I like to feel comfortable and not so pulled together when I wear sweaters. So yeah, I wish I would have knit the size up. I knit the size 5, which I think was like a 48 or might have been even a 50. But my gauge was slightly off. And so it's a little smaller than it was intended, but it was also only supposed to have 2 inches of positive ease. So, I mean, that's about 2 inches. Let me stand up and show you the length. I'm gonna try not to flash you. Okay. So, and it also clings a little too much for my liking. Here it is. Like, it hits me, like, here's the button on my pants, and I'm wearing high-waisted pants. So, like, it's not that cropped, but I wish it was, like, 2 inches longer. If it was, like, here, I would wear this every day. Because I want to, like, tuck it in. I don't know. So, here it is. Here's the back. The back, when I blocked it, I didn't smooth out the back. But yes, so I alternated skeins using helical knitting. Yeah. This is the Mackworth by Andrea Mowry. I knit it out of Stress Knits yarn. My singles base, the colors are, the main color is Perfectly Adequate. The dark green here is Mountain Mama. The light pink is Palm Lines, and this minty color is Pillow Mint. So yeah, I loved the color work. It's a fingering weight sweater. I used like 20 grams, if that, of each of these contrast colors, and then I used three skeins of the main color. This is what I have left of the third skein. It's about, I have a scale, I can tell you. And when I actually weighed all of my skeins at the beginning, and they weren't, yeah. So I have 22 grams left of this main color. They weren't very heavy skeins either. If they were over 100 grams, it was barely. So, yeah, and for a size 5, 3 skeins isn't horrible for a fingering weight sweater, right? Like that's pretty great. Yeah, but again, my gauge was slightly off, so it is a little snugger than I wanted it to be, but I did not check gauge thoroughly enough on the sweater. I didn't block it. I just kind of wanted to go because I bit off more than I could chew, and that's why I didn't finish this test knit. But I really like it. I can see myself wearing this. Yeah, I think it's just something I need to get more comfortable with, is more fitted garments. But yeah, I really like it. I love my singles base. It's super cozy. The sleeves I got annoyed with, so I knit them a little shorter, but I roll up my sleeves like this anyway, so it doesn't really bother me. And also like bracelet length, I kind of like. What else about this sweater? No, I think that's pretty much it. I like it. I would recommend it to a friend. I really, really love this motif. I'm sorry, I'm still a little stuffy. And my throat keeps getting dry. So I'm just gonna keep this open actually. So I'm sorry if I'm taking more sips of water than usual, but that's fine. Yeah, I do recommend the sweater. Again, the color work was great. There are a few sections, where you are doing color work with 3 colors. So it's a little tricky, but it's not that bad. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Yeah. I'm really excited to take photos of it. I think it's really beautiful. So yeah, I would recommend the sweater, but again, check your gauge, and yeah, that's pretty much, I guess that's pretty much it. So next, I have my show notes behind my camera, so if I'm looking like this, that's why. So next, I have a half-finished object. What? I'm falling back in love with sock knitting, just for more portable knitting. Excuse me. And yeah, so there will be more socks on this channel this year, I feel like. Sorry about that. The UPS man knocked on the door a bunch of times, and yeah, but that's my yarn shipment, so that's great. It was just a little, I don't know, and they never come to the back door, so I thought it was somebody that I knew. Nobody else comes to the back door. Okay. Anyway, where were we? Half-finished objects, knitting more socks this year. So I'm really, really excited to finally share this project with you because I've been knitting on it since November. And it is my day 25 colorway of my Stress Knits Advent Calendar from 2019. And I loved it so much that I had to cake it up immediately and cast on a sock. I love it that much. So this is the colorway Last Christmas. I am so happy with how it turned out. And it's kind of a funny story. So, day 24 was called, let me grab it actually. Day 24 was gathering. And gathering, I left the skein bare, but I used all of the same speckles. And this is how it came out. So it's a little more pale and all that stuff, and I loved it that much that I decided to put those speckles on my new pink, which is Eloise, which I will show you in the shop update section. Excuse me. Yes, so I'm so happy with how this turned out. It is going to be a Christmas colorway staple. There will be some in the shop update, but it'll probably start showing up in the Stress Knits shop in October. Yes. I love it. I'm so happy with it. I used my normal sock recipe, so 64 stitches on a US 1. I did 20 rounds of 2x2 rib. I just knit however long I wanted to on the leg, a dropped heel with a reinforced heel flap and gusset, and a wedge toe with a Kitchener. But yes, I'm so proud of this colorway. I'm so happy that I can finally share it with you. I have not cast on the second sock yet, but I will be doing so shortly. Yeah, so that is my half finished object. Keeping on the sock theme, let's talk about my Christmas Eve cast on. So I technically cast on 2, but I'm only going to show you 1 because I've made the most amount of progress on it, and that is a very loose interpretation of this. But I wanted to use this sock yarn since I got it 2 years ago. And for those of you who are new, 2 years ago I had, around this time I was pretty blue, I was pretty down because of my miscarriage, which I'm pretty open about, just because it happened in the second trimester and I couldn't hide the fact that I had one. And yeah, so I was pretty down, and I I bought a bunch of Christmas yarn, and this was one of them. So my dear, sweet, talented friend Julie of Sweet Sparrow Yarns, who everybody should know and love and have her yarn because it is so beautiful. She came out with this colorway called Santa Baby. Hate the song, love the colorway. Yeah, it's just this beautiful light pink with maybe even fuchsia speckles with some icy blue speckles, and it's beautiful. So I love this, but I wanted to make it more of a Christmas-y pair of socks, and I got this mini with a mystery kit from Woolberry for the Christmas Eve colorway, and it was I don't know if I have it near me. I don't, it's a little far away, but I loved the mini that came with it so much. So this is the mini. It's a Woolberry Fiber Company, Bethany. I don't think it has a colorway name, but it's just beautiful. I think she has something similar to this. I want to say it's like berry tart or something like that. I don't know if it's exactly this, but it's on her 80/20 base, which is my favorite kind of sock base. Oh, that's also what this is. This is my favorite base, 80/20. Yeah, so that's wonderful. And I almost told you what kind of ribbing I did, but it's the ribbing for the pattern. So when I saw this beautiful berry color next to Santa Baby by Sweet Sparrow, I knew they had to be this sock pattern. Excuse me. This is one that I've loved for a long time, but again, I fell out of love with sock knitting because that was the last thing I was knitting on when I was first pregnant and I was very sick, and it took me a long time to look at socks and knit socks without feeling nauseous again. So I'm finally out of that 2 years later, and I cast on the Williamsburg socks by Jaclyn Salem, who is Brooklyn Knit Folk. She has an amazing YouTube channel and an even more amazing Patreon. You should go support her if you don't. Yes, so this is the Williamsburg sock. I'm not super far into it, but it has 1x1 ribbing, and then I forget what this is on the back, but it's gorgeous. So this is the back, and this is the front. So this pattern repeats all the way down, and I love it. It's so sweet. It's perfect. I think these are based on the Williamsburg Bridge, maybe, but that's what it looks like to me. If it's not, I want to say it is, but just this little motif looks like the Williamsburg Bridge to me. But again, I could be 100% wrong. Yeah, so that was my Christmas Eve cast on. This will be something I reach for occasionally, and hopefully we'll have a finished pair by next December. Yes, I love it. I do want to get a green contrast for the heel, but I need to find the right green. So I might talk to Julie and see if she has any recommendations for a green that would go with Santa Baby. But yes, oh, I love this sock. The next thing that I'm knitting on, I just picked back up because I finished the sweater. So I wanted to get this sweater to the sleeve separation. So that's what I'm working on now. This is the Manet Light by Joanna Hietala from Lane Magazine. This pattern's not in the magazine, but Joanna Hietala was she's the Lane person, right? I think I'm right. I might be wrong. Yes, so this is just a simple raglan. Like, there's nothing special about it. It's just a simple fingering weight raglan sweater. I might knit the size up than what I was planning. Yeah, I think I might knit the size up because I want it to be more oversized, but we'll see. Yes, I'm knitting the 3rd or 4th size in. I forget what it is, and I don't have the pattern. It fell, so I can't tell you that information either. But yes, I am using Stress Knit Single, which is the same base that I used for this, in the Siren colorway. I am going to be alternating skeins soon, but at the very beginning of a sweater, so I usually knit a little bit and then I'll introduce the second, which is here. So I'm going to introduce the second soon and alternate from then on. But yes, so that is the Manet Light. Nothing too crazy. I'm just in the middle of raglan increases, which is my least favorite part of a sweater, but that's just where I'm at. The other sweater that I'm working on is actually not for me. What? And it's not for Eliza. It's for my husband, Doug. So, I knit him a sweater last year, and it didn't fit. It's not that it didn't fit, I didn't seam it together well enough for it to fit correctly. So, yeah, I'm knitting the Flax by Tin Can Knits. I'm using the original version because there is a fingering weight version. I have it on a hanger because I have it on 2 circulars right now. I had him try it on and it fits him really, really well. It's perfect. So, yeah, he's really excited and I'm hoping to get this done by the end of the month. And I don't think that's going to be a problem, especially if we go up north, because this will be one of the things that I take. Yeah, I'm using the same yarn that I used for his other sweater. It is Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in cast iron, which is the black colorway. Yeah, I'm using some of the salvaged sweater, and I bought a few skeins because frogging seamed Brooklyn Tweed has not been my friend. Yes, I tried freezing it. No, it did not help. It just isn't working. So I bought like 4 extra skeins and it's fine because my local yarn store has it, which is Spun in Ann Arbor. And they're not really local. They're like a half an hour away. But that's the only yarn store around here that I really enjoy going to. So yeah. But there it is. I'm knitting the size large, I think. It's a 42 inch chest, which will give him about 4 inches of positive ease, which is about what he likes for his sweater. I actually, I can't show it to you because my phone is sitting on it. I have 4 books stacked up to get it to a decent height. So I'm not like looking down at the camera or looking up. The camera's not looking up at me. Yeah, so I measured his favorite sweater and did all of that stuff. So I have all those measurements and yeah, so hopefully this will fit him well. I did make one modification. I used the tubular cast on for the neckline. I will not be doing a tubular cast off because I've not mastered it yet and I don't want to screw up his sweater anymore. So I'm going to use the one that I always use. It is, I found it on Very Pink Knits tutorials, which I think most of us know. I'll leave a link in the show notes for it, but it's a very stretchy bind off. Essentially you knit and purl and pattern and then you knit or purl through the back loop depending on what your last stitch was. And I think it's very clean. I like the way that it looks. I do like tubular better, but I've never had any luck with it. My tension isn't right when I do it. So this has been what I've used for my last few sweaters and I love it. So I highly recommend checking that out if you are struggling with bind offs for garments or even toe up socks or whatever you bind off that needs to be stretchy. So the last thing that I'm working on, I have other things on the needles, but I'm not really knitting on them much. So the next item is my Habitation throw by Helen Stewart, which I'm using the 2019 Stress Knits Advent Calendar. I am halfway through. So I have like 4 more rows and then I start decreasing, but I need to change to day 14, which I have on my desk. This is Eloise. This is my new pink. So that will go right here. So this is going to be for my daughter Eliza. She got a tent for Christmas. She loves it. And she is just a really cozy baby. She likes pillows. She likes stuffed animals. She likes blankets. So I thought this would be the perfect gift for her, but I didn't finish it in time for Christmas. Here it is. So this is the calendar day 1 to day 13. I'm just going to go through them really quickly, but you can find all of them over on Instagram. This is Ever Peach, Dusk, Eucalyptus, Budding Branches, Winter's Day, Cheesy Movie, Impressionist Winter, Bubbly, Figgy Pudding, Peak. I switched day 11 and 12, so this is technically day 11, but I didn't want these two next to each other for this project. I just thought it'd be more fun, and I love this colorway so much that I wanted it to stand out. It's not so much I didn't want these two, I didn't want these two next to each other, because I wanted this to stand out more. In hindsight, it wouldn't have mattered, but that's just what I did. So day 11 is Winter Floral. Day 12 is Cozy Cardigan, which is based off of my cardigan I wore for my wedding. And then day 13 is Branches. And then 14 is Eloise. So yes, it's gonna be a project. I'm hoping to maybe do like a stripe or two a week, because I mean I'm decreasing from this point on, so it's going to get quicker. I think when I started slowing down at like day 6 or 7, so I have a few days to slog through, and then I will just go and finish it. But I really enjoy this pattern. It's such a good stash busting project, and you can make it as big as you want. I know Laura from the Knit Girls is using 2 advent calendars. I'm so sorry. She's using 2 advent calendars, and yeah, it's massive. So I think that's a really cool idea. And honestly, I think I might do this with all of my advent calendars that I make. It's just such a good project to show off what it looks like. So yeah, there it is so far. The light has changed so much in this episode, I feel like. I'm actually holding all of my minis in this basket. So put that sweater over there. Okay. So it's just been fun. And then I haven't used the full 20 grams on any of the colors yet, because I also really want to put them into my crochet granny stripe blanket, which I'll show you at some point, but I haven't made much progress on it to really justify showing it to you. Okay, so that's everything I've been working on. I do have some future cast-ons, but I've talked about them all before. I'm hoping to have a new sweater cast on next week or the week after. Yeah, but I really want it. I want to cast on all of the sweaters that I want to knit this year. I want to cast on my entire make 9-ish. It's actually a make 7. I want to cast everything on because I have yarn for almost all of it. Some of it I just have to dye. But I can't do that because it'll stress me out. And I have a few more things that I want to get off the needles. So we will do that soon. With that, I'm going to move into Stress Knits shop talk. So if you're not interested, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for coming back in the new year. And thank you for being around for any part of the 100 episodes, whether it was from the very beginning or even just this past episode. It means it. I always struggle to really convey how much it means to me. I mean, I'm sitting in my office talking to my front-facing camera on my phone, and people are gonna watch this later, and it just kind of blows my mind that I'm not just talking to myself. I get to have a relationship with each and every one of you. You welcome me into your homes and have coffee or tea with me while we talk about knitting, and it just means the absolute world that I've been able to do this for 4 years, for 100 episodes, that I've gone through literally everything. I feel like I've gone through an entire lifetime in the past 4 years, and so just thank you so much for being here for that, and I will talk to you next week. But if you're interested in shop news, we're going to talk about it in just a second. If you're not interested in shop news, but you're interested in Patreon news, just fast forward a little bit, but that will be at the very end. Okay. Shop. I'm having a shop update on Monday, January 11th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is it's a pretty large update. There's over 100 skeins going into the shop. This is not everything that's going into the shop. Like I just said, I have a yarn shipment that came in because I have 2 more custom orders that need to be dyed and shipped out, and I also have a few more colorways that I would like to add to this, or at least a few more base options. So we'll see. But like, I know there's my cloud base, which is my Surrey alpaca, which some of these colors will be on, and DK. So that will also be in the shop. But let's talk about what is done and ready to be photographed and all that stuff. This is my trusty laundry basket that my in-laws left and never asked for back. So, let's talk about, okay, so this is Grubby. I think we all know Grubby. Grubby will be on Favorite. There is a sock design coming out using this colorway. Oh my goodness. Seed stitching cables. It's gonna be gorgeous. But yes, Grubby on Favorite. All of these have at least 4 skeins in a dye lot. So there will be sweater quantities. Yes, there is Last Christmas on Favorite. Ever Peach on Favorite. The green is kind of hiding in this skein, but there's a lot of green. We have more Dusk. I already have 4 on Favorite in the shop, but there will also be a sweater's quantity of Dusk on Single and Dusk on Halo, which is my mohair silk. I have, excuse me, I have Bubbly. This is the one that's been most requested, so there is a ton of Bubbly going into the shop. I don't like saying this, but I anticipate that this is going to be the first colorway that goes in this update. So if you want Bubbly, I would be there as soon as possible. Just a heads up, because I've had, like, no joke, like 30 requests for this. So yes, Bubbly on Favorite, Bubbly on Single, Bubbly on Mohair. It's just such a good champagne-y colorway. So there's that. Dusk and Bubbly look similar in mohair, but this is more purple and this is more, you know, like champagne is just the perfect word for it. So just in case you're wondering. And then I have my new pink, which is Eloise on Favorite, on Single, and on Mohair. Mohair, it's Halo, Stacy, Halo. And then also the breakout star of the advent calendar, Figgy Pudding, which I was not expecting. So we have it on Single, Favorite, and my personal favorite, Halo. This is my new favorite skein of yarn in my shop right now. And I'm not a purple person, which is why I don't have a lot of purple in the shop. But just look at this. This little section right here. It's just so pretty. So that is what is going into the shop, but I wanted to talk about a new pattern that came out, which I think is going to take the knitting world by storm, and if it doesn't, I will be genuinely shocked. The Cozy Classic Ragland by Jessiemae. Now, I have just about every Jessiemae pattern in my queue, but this one I've been waiting for. It is incredibly beautiful, incredibly size inclusive, and it's just all around a good shape. So the weight of yarn. She uses Ritual dyes, and I think Ritual dyes has kits in the original colorways and a few others, so if you're interested in that, check out Ritual dyes. She's amazing. But if you wanted to use Stress Knits yarn, she calls for a fingering held with a mohair, but I know that's not everyone's bag, so that is also a DK weight. And also I have the Surrey alpaca base, which is Surrey and silk, and I use that in my no frills, and it is the squishiest, softest velvet texture. So that's also an option, but I wanted to show you some color combos that even I was thinking of. So my first thought was eucalyptus, which is my new green. So I actually have sweater quantities of everything that I'm showing you, because this pattern is perfect. So eucalyptus, so this is on single, and this is the halo, which is mohair. No Trail to Follow, which is mint and gray speckles. So I have it on both single and favorite, but the mohair just makes it sing. So that is No Trail to Follow. I think that would be a really beautiful, cozy, classic raglan. Obviously, you could do Bubbly, which would be such a beautiful, everyday kind of sweater. So again, single and favorite are both fingering, held with the halo mohair. Dusk would be absolutely stunning. If you wanted something a little more classic, I'm gonna put that down, a little more just everyday, Eloise is the perfect pink in my opinion. I'm so happy with this color. That's very true. So that would be a great option, but I'm not gonna lie to you. So originally I was thinking eucalyptus, right? And then I dyed figgy pudding on mohair. And I can't get this out of my mind, and I might have to do it. So figgy pudding is also a wonderful option for the Cozy Classic Raglan by Jessiemae. So that is what is in the shop. That is what's going into the shop. Please keep in mind, if you see something and there's not enough of what you are wanting, you can always email me through the website or at stressknitsyarn@gmail.com and place a custom order. It takes like 2 to 4 weeks, it just kind of depends. Sometimes I'll get it out in a week if I have the yarn already, like already to dye. So it just kind of depends, but I want to make that very clear that if you do not have the amount of yarn that you need for a project, as long as it's 3 skeins on the same base, we can work it out. So there's that. Anything else with Stress Knits? I don't think so. New stuff is coming, but later. Yeah, so let's talk Patreon. So 1, hi, you're all wonderful. I cannot believe that you like the content I create. No words for the gratitude that I have for all of you. Seriously, like, even, like, if every single subscriber pledged $1, life-changing, right? And it's already just so helpful, because I am technically a stay-at-home mom, because daycare is expensive, and it just wasn't, it was easier to stay at home than to find childcare, right? But I am still working. I have my own business, and I do this, which is so much fun, and I'm creating so much more over on Patreon. So Patreon, for those of you who don't know, it is a way to financially support your favorite makers. A lot of audio podcasters have this, YouTube channels, content creators, like, so I really like Sims. I've always been really into The Sims, and there are a lot of people who create custom content for The Sims who have their own Patreons. A lot of knitters are getting into the space, which I think is really, really cool. Yeah, there's a lot of people, like activists and just really amazing people over on Patreon that create free content, as well as content specifically for patrons. So I've had my Patreon account for about just over a year. I started last December, and it was just a leap of faith. It was like, maybe people like what I make enough to financially help out or pledge. I don't know. So I didn't really have a direction for it. It was just kind of like, let's just see, and then evolve it as it grows, if it grows, and if it doesn't, then no harm, no foul. But I really like where it's going, and I want to make it more of a priority this year. So let's talk about the tier system. So there are different levels that you can pledge. There, on my specific channel specific page, there is a $1, a $5, a $10, and a $20, because I feel like those are they're close enough together. Yeah, and I feel like it makes the most sense to me. So $1 is for anybody who just loves the podcast. I keep it ad-free specifically because I want it to be ad-free, and I don't like the fact that I don't have control over what ads plays before my video. And it's really important to me that anything you see here is something that I endorse or that I support, because I've seen some ads before some of my favorite video podcasters, and I'm like, that's not anything close to what you stand for, and it just kind of sucks. So I've decided to keep my channel ad-free for that reason. And yeah, so the $1 a month, think of it as 25 cents a video. You will also receive a weekly blog post about my making with pictures that are honestly really good, because my husband takes them, or he helps me figure out how to stage them and make them look really pretty. So there's that, and I hope it's a way that I inspire you. I don't know, I really like talking about what I'm making and my thought process and all of that stuff, so that's where that is. And then you'll also occasionally get random videos. But that is the, just like, thank you so much for supporting me, you're amazing tier. Yeah, yeah, that's the I enjoy what you create, and me, Stacy, thinks you're amazing for enjoying what I create. So the next tier is tier 5. Now this is usually where I had most of my content going, but I kind of wanted to differentiate 5 and 10 and 20 a little bit more, because 10 and 20 is such a extravagance, and I also understand that like Patreon's not for everybody, and I also understand that people can't always financially do so. So like I'm never offended if people have to leave my Patreon. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I just appreciate you being here as long as you are. So 5 is going to be, so that is where Whip Down will first hit. There's a new one up that went up yesterday on my Ronin. So that's where the Whip Down is. You will also get the weekly updates. And I just started a color inspiration series, and that is where I show you pictures that I have taken, or there is one coming up that I had a friend let me some pictures that I could use to show the inspiration for one of my colorways, because I have no way of getting there right now to take the pictures, but everything else is a photo that Doug or I have taken. And I talk through what I pulled out of this thing and where I got the inspiration and how I interpret it into yarn, and then I show you this is the picture of the inspiration and this is the picture of the yarn. And I just think it's a really fun way to kind of show you how my brain works. So there's that. So that's the $5 tier, and then the $10 tier, we are starting something new. So you get everything that the 5 and the 1 get, and then you are also going to be getting twice monthly vlogs of just everyday life. They're not going to be super exciting, or if you're looking for like super adventurous, that's just not my life. Again, I'm a stay-at-home mom that also runs a business out of my home, so a lot of my time is spent at home working or being with my daughter. So it's the everyday. It's yeah. So I'm working on this this 2-week vlog right now, which is going up Thursday? I don't know. I have a schedule, but it's underneath. So, but yes, every 2 weeks you will get a vlog into just my everyday life. Yeah, sometimes we go on adventures, sometimes we don't. And I can't wait to bring you into our home a little bit more and to show you how I work, how I fit in work with a toddler, which is hard sometimes. So that is also happening. That's in the works right now, and it's dropping this week, and I cannot wait. And then you will also get like some random videos. I'm putting up a Q&A soon this month that will go to 10 and above. Yes, and then the $20 tier is one that I kind of struggle with, because $20 is a lot of money a month for what I create. And I mean, if you think I'm worth it, I fully support it, but for me it's just kind of hard to imagine that. I don't know how else to say it. I value my work a lot, and I am glad that people find that much value in what I do. So I really appreciate it, and that is something that I'm trying to figure out. There are going to be more just video content for you occasionally, but that's kind of your choice to do. Yeah, but I'm trying to figure something special out for you. Yes, So with that, yeah, so that is Patreon 2020. And I have some other ideas for some series, and yeah, I'm just gonna figure it out, but that is the plan right now. I have everything mapped out for the month of January, and you can see that on the Patreon vlogs. I'm going to talk through that with you and how I plan everything out to fit everything in. So again, with that, I am going to edit this since the UPS man decided to knock a lot on her door. Yes, so I will see you next Tuesday or Wednesday, and I hope you are having a wonderful start to the year. Bye.